Tottenham's all-time top scorer left his boyhood club last summer in search of titles, and he's done exactly what everyone expected at Bayern. Goals, goals, and more goals. 26 league strikes in his debut Bundesliga season, and already well into double digits this campaign. By any rational measure, there's no reason for Bayern to even entertain the thought of letting him go. And yet, the rumors refuse to die. Reports from England claim United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle, and even Barcelona are positioning themselves in case Kane decides he wants to come home. The Sun even suggested the price could be as low as £56 million, which for a striker of Kane's caliber, feels like daylight robbery. The key to this puzzle lies in Kane's contract. He signed until 2027, but insiders claim there's a window. He must notify Bayern by the end of January if he intends to trigger a move back to England. That puts the decision squarely in his hands. If he decides the Premier League record is his ultimate prize, Bayern may have no choice but to open negotiations. Kane is only 48 goals away from breaking Alan Shearer's all-time tally. That number, more than trophies or paychecks, might be the pull strong enough to uproot him from Germany. But who could realistically make it happen? Manchester United have long been obsessed with Kane. They missed out when he was still at Spurs, but Sir Jim Ratcliffe wants a marquee signing to put his stamp on the new era at Old Trafford. Chelsea are perennially desperate for a striker, and a player like Kane instantly changes their trajectory. Arsenal's interest seems shocking on paper, Spurs' greatest ever player moving to their fiercest rivals. But Arteta's project is built around ambition, and Kane would fit seamlessly in their front line. Newcastle, armed with Saudi-backed wealth, could easily afford him, while Barcelona dream of him as Lewandowski's heir. And then there's Spurs themselves. Thomas Frank, now at the helm, has openly welcomed the idea of Kane returning, though matching his £400,000 a week wages could prove impossible. The truth is, if Kane does knock on Bayern's door before January and says, "I want out," the market explodes. The clubs circling now would dive headfirst into a bidding war, creating one of the most dramatic transfer sagas of the decade. If he stays silent, it's another season of dominance in Munich, another year of bratwurst in Bundesliga, and another delay to the inevitable showdown with Shearer's record. Either way, the drama is guaranteed. While Kane dominates the headlines, Barcelona quietly pulled off a major coup of their own. Frenkie de Jong, after years of speculation and half-hearted attempts by Manchester United and others to pry him away, has signed a new deal until 2029. Even more shocking, he's agreed to a pay cut. This seemed unthinkable just months ago. Negotiations had stalled, Frenkie hired a new agent, and the general feeling was that he would bide his time before moving on. But once Sebastian Ledger stepped in to represent him, the deal suddenly accelerated. For Barca, this is a monumental victory. Hansi Flick sees de Jong as the linchpin of his midfield project alongside Pedri, the pair tasked with dictating play for the next generation. De Jong becomes not just a player but a captain, a cornerstone of stability in a club that has spent years lurching from one crisis to another. His new deal doesn't just buy time, it signals to the rest of Europe that de Jong is off the market. Clubs can stop circling, because the Dutchman isn't going anywhere. Meanwhile, another superstar could be on the move in the opposite direction. Karim Benzema, after a lucrative but short stint at Al Ittihad, is reportedly being eyed by Jose Mourinho for a stunning reunion at Benfica. The idea of the Ballon d'Or winner walking out at the Estadio de Luz, coached once again by the man who guided him at Real Madrid, has fans in Portugal buzzing. The transfer fee would be a bargain, with the Saudis supposedly willing to sell for as little as €5 to €7 million. But here's the problem: wages. Benzema currently pockets around £83 million a year in Saudi Arabia, a figure so astronomical it dwarfs the entire Portuguese league's payroll. Benfica could maybe stretch to £3 to £4 million a season, and that's still pushing their structure. The gap is laughable. Why would Benzema take a 20-fold pay cut just to chase nostalgia? He turns 38 in December, and while his quality is undeniable, the physical demands of European football, pressing, running, and leading the line, are a different animal to the comfortable pace of Saudi Arabia. From a marketing perspective, it's a no-brainer. Shirts, tickets, and global attention would pay for itself. From a footballing perspective, it's a huge gamble. Mourinho may want the romance of an old ally, but whether the deal makes sense for anyone else is another story. Over in London, Arsenal are plotting yet another move to bolster their squad. After already spending more than any other Premier League club this past summer, Reports now claim they're preparing a €45 million bid for Real Sociedad's Takefusa Kubo. The Japanese winger has become one of La Liga's most exciting attackers, tormenting defenders with his dribbling, pace, and creativity. His release clause sits at €60 million, and Sociedad are adamant they won't budge. Arsenal's opening bid is essentially a test of their resolve. The logic is straightforward. Bukayo Saka remains Arsenal's star on the right wing, but Noni Madueke, signed to provide cover, has already suffered a knee injury that will keep him sidelined for weeks. That leaves Arteta short of options in a season where depth is essential. Kubo, at 23, offers both immediate quality and long-term upside. Still, questions remain. Spending €60 million on another right winger when midfield depth and striking options are more pressing concerns could leave fans scratching their heads. But Arsenal's ambition is clear. They don't just want to compete in England, they want to build a squad capable of conquering Europe. And then, of course, we return to Manchester United, where chaos is the constant. Ruben Amorim has barely settled in, yet reports suggest he's already on the brink. According to El Nacional, United's board have given him an ultimatum: win the next 2 matches or pack his bags. The shadow of a potential replacement is already looming, and the name being whispered is none other than Xavi. On the surface, it makes sense. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has been vocal about wanting a manager who can develop young players rather than splashing on expensive imports. Xavi's track record at Barcelona proves he can steady a ship in crisis, lean on youth, and still deliver results. He won La Liga, after all, under circumstances many thought impossible. But would he really want the United job? Xavi has publicly said he plans to take a break until 2026 and only return for a proper project, where he'd be given 4 years to build a team. At Old Trafford, managers barely last 4 months before the knives are out. The instability, the pressure, the constant headlines. Why would he willingly jump back into the fire? Still, Xavi has admitted he admires the Premier League and would relish the chance to coach there one day. United, desperate for stability and star power on the touchline, see him as an ideal candidate. It's a marriage that sounds poetic on paper but in practice could prove combustible. If Xavi does take the plunge, he'll need time, patience, and backing. 3 things United haven't offered a manager since Sir Alex Ferguson. So as we sit here looking at the transfer rumblings, it's clear that January could bring fireworks. Will Harry Kane sacrifice Bayern glory for the chance to rewrite English football history? Will Arsenal break the bank on Kubo? Could Karim Benzema take one last bow in Europe under Mourinho's watch? And could Manchester United, the Premier League's eternal soap opera, really turn to Xavi as their next savior? So what do you think? Should Harry Kane come back to the Premier League and chase Alan Shearer's record? Would Karim Benzema be crazy to leave Saudi Arabia for one last European run? Is Kubo worth €60 million for Arsenal? And could Xavi really survive at Manchester United? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the drama, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the biggest twists in the transfer world.